Well, there are probably some IU fans who have played the IU golf course at some point in time, either as a student or as a fan down here for a football weekend of some sort. But let's address the team center. This has been a new addition out at the golf complex here in Indiana. And talk about what that has done for your program and the components therein.
Well, the Cecil Weathers Golf Team Center is it's a great addition to both golf programs, both men's and women's. The money was largely donated by Cecil Weathers. It is kind of our home for IU golf. We call it, with the Masters reference, our version of Butler Cabin. We have the offices in there. We have a team center in there, locker rooms for both the men and women. We have a dedicated study area. We have an indoor teaching studio with all sorts of gadgets, which is really cool. I'm in hog heaven in those things. We have a club repair room. So it's really a full scope and it addresses all the needs of pretty much all the student athletes.
Well, and you mentioned the instructional center, and they've got all sorts of gadgets. You're somebody, from the moment that you have arrived, you've wanted to do video, instructional stuff like that. Talk about how that can help in some ways, not only an average golfer who's wanting to get better, but somebody who's playing at a high level like your team.
Well, having a teaching background, I've used video a lot. And, kind of the way I've looked at it is video for me is my version of a doctor's x-rays. I mean, it's a chance for you to come on, take some shots, see yourself, because quite frankly, what people do in the golf world, they'll hit balls, they'll get a feel, and they won't have really any idea of what they're actually doing. And, from an instructional standpoint, that's largely because the only visual input they have is of the tour. So they're seeing Tiger, Phil, Jason Day, I can't even pronounce Shard. Our Masters winner from South Africa. I mean, so that's the visual input that they get. As all these great tour players, and then they go out and hit balls, and you get a sense, a feel, and your brain's pretty smart. It says, "Hey, I've got a picture on one side and a feel on the other side. I look like Tiger Woods." And using video, using the 3D motion analysis stuff, really enables a player of any ability level to say, whoa, maybe I don't look so much like Tiger. So, and then you can do some work, in whatever areas you need to work on.
Well, speaking of Tiger Woods, there's a comment from T. Woods that has come in for us here. What is the best golf course that you have ever played, either with a team or yourself?
Ooh, good question. I have played a variety of different courses. So the question, I would answer it two parts. Number one, from an aesthetic standpoint, would probably be Chambers Bay in Tacoma, Washington, where they're hosting. They've got a U.S. Open going there in a couple of years. They had the U.S. Amateur there recently. It's right on the Tacoma Narrows, which is the Puget Sound of the Pacific Northwest, and it was one of those glorious, perfect Northwest days. And I mean, it's a links-type course. There's ferries. There's mountains. It's a gorgeous setting. From a quality, challenging, I would have to say Cricket Stick would probably rank up there. Cricket Stick is world-class venue. It's obviously hosted 7 or 8 USGA events. I think that's a true test of golf. It's one of those things where you have to hit all sorts of different shots by design, not how a lot of amateurs, they hit a lot of different shots, but usually not the way they want to. So that would be probably the two courses I would say on that one.
Well, looking at your team and where you guys have played, you really make a point not only to go to interesting locations, but to play challenging courses to get ready for the Big Tens.
Well, you have to. Golf is so different than any other sport. We were talking about this yesterday in our head coaches meeting, where basketball is played on the same basketball court. It might be a different location. Football's on a football field. Everything is pretty much the same. But you go to a golf course, and you can have a links style. You can have a traditional style. You can have wind, no wind, rain, sleet, snow, 85 degrees. So each golf course has its own unique properties. And to be able to compete, this is one of the things we teach our girls, is that you need to be able to take your specific golf game and apply it to the golf course in the most efficient manner possible. And that's just looking at a golf course strengths and weaknesses, your strengths and weaknesses, matching them up and going from there. Golf is unique as we've discussed. It's an individual sport played throughout the years, but you get into the collegiate or the high school level, or even some of the national teams, and we're going to have golf in the Olympics. It's a team sport, so you have to have that sense of camaraderie. And there's some good things with golf in the team sport, and there are some inherently not so good things when you turn golf into a team sport. We like to try to get the girls to work together towards a common goal, whether that's preparing ourselves for this week's Ohio State tournament or working our Iron Chef competition to make the best dessert possible. It's the whole thing is trying to work in an environment to make yourself and the others around you the best they can be.
Why don't you address your team here, specifically the 2011 Indiana Hoosiers, the principal golfers, some of the players who are really standing out here?
Well, we are very much a very young team. We have 2 freshmen, 6 sophomores, 1 junior, 2 seniors.
Oh, wow.
And we have a gobs of talent, absolute gobs of talent. It's really neat. I'll just kind of go through the classes. We'll start with our seniors. Lauren Kiseki is our senior captain. She's actually a former basketball player.
Okay.
And she was being recruited by schools for basketball. I saw her in a camp that she came to, and we turned her into a golfer. And it's just one of those great success stories that I always like to tell recruits that, here's a person that really wanted to do it and has put in the time, put in the effort. And her college career has been remarkable. And even this past March, where she played in Phoenix and posted, a career best 218, which is 2 over par shot. 72 in the first round, 71 in the second round, 75 in the final round. And that, gets a 3rd place finish for a girl that's never played junior golf, that never competed at the state, local, or national junior golf levels. So to me, that's a feel-good story. Our other senior, Cecil Orvik, is a transfer from Middle Tennessee. She's made a huge impact on the team throughout her 3 years here. She's traveling to Ohio State this weekend. She comes off a great performance at Otter Creek, where she finished, I think, 15th or 18th. So we're looking for her to, step it up and make a positive contribution. The last couple of events. Christine Kane is a junior transfer from Ball State. She has pretty much been our number 2 player, number 3 player throughout the course of the year. She is super steady. She is very, very competitive. She is on the cusp of having, a big-time senior year. She needed just a good environment and a few things in her game to push her, but she can shoot low numbers. She has done it in the past. She's very steady. She very rarely throws in a very bad number. I mean, her usual, if she has a bad number, it's going to be 77 or 78. On the flip side, she can shoot 70, 69. Our big class of sophomores includes Pamela Berninsky, who
won a big prestigious tournament last summer.
Yes, yeah. She's been a 2-time Washington State women's champion. She was the Washington State or the Pacific Northwest Player of the Year. She won the PNGA Women's Amateur. She's a big-time player from the Northwest. She's played well through her entire career. She's been very solid. She's making her way to Ohio State this week, and that's a good golf course for her. She's a very precision-type player where she just gets in the fairway, gets on the green, doesn't make too many mistakes, and that's going to be very key for us on a Jack Nicklaus design golf course, which is, we can talk about that later, but that's one of the things I talk to the girls about is understanding the architect of the golf course, and then you can understand how to play it. So, Jack Nicklaus, the ultimate strategist and patient player, is going to design a golf course to reward that type of play. You're not going to be, Greg Norman trying to overpower a Jack Nicklaus type golf course and get away with it. So, we'll get back to our sophomores. Rosie Davies is a transfer from Lehigh. Absolutely phenomenal athletic talent. Can hit the ball a long ways, has had some stupid good rounds, and has just looking to get a little bit more consistent playing at the Big Ten level versus, the level that Lehigh plays at. So I'm expecting a lot from her next year. Kate Koons is one of the other members of our sophomore class. She's a great player, posted 69, I believe, at Mountain View in the final round, and had it 5 under with 3 holes to go, and was in front of a par 5 and 2, had a 10-footer into. I mean, she was staring down birdies. I mean, she had a legitimate chance to go like silly deep, like 64 type deep, and then just didn't quite finish off the round. She's capable of posting some really good stuff. She's been a very constant in our lineup. Let's see now. Jackie Yansh is another Canadian from Ontario. Another true athletic talent, hits the ball a long ways. And Jackie is one of these players that every time I see her and I watch her play, she gets better. And she's, as you know in sports, it's not often the big things that make the difference. It's just doing the little things, seeing the bounce pass or getting a different angle or, pitching off the different side of the rubber, whatever it is. Well, in golf, Jackie is beginning to do those things. And what you're going to see from her from now through the end of her career is a big spike in improvement just because she's getting more comfortable in understanding how to play the game at a professional level. Molly O'Connor is from Pride of Wheaton, Illinois. She really has had a great junior career, had a good, solid Indiana Invitational. She's been our SAC president. She's, as you know, her and her classmate Kylie Works have been instrumental in elevating Iron Chef to, proportions that we can't even discuss.
Kitchen Stadium can't even handle it.
No. It's amazing. And so those two have really done a tremendous job, not only in practice and competing when they compete, but just in the social team aspect. Molly is the president of SAC. Kylie is the secretary of SAC. So they're very involved in a lot of the things student activity-wise. So, that's a big sophomore class. Our freshman class consists of Lindsay Game. Lindsay is from Louisville, Kentucky. She is the 69th ranked player in the nation. She is really good.
Okay.
Really good. She's on track, hopefully, to be the Big Ten Freshman of the Year, as well as possibly first or second team All Big Ten, just depending. She could be as good as she wants to be. A tour, I wouldn't say a tour player. I would say a tour winner.
Okay.
I mean, she's got a big time game. She hits it a mile. She's got good hands. She's got a good work ethic. And she has what it takes inside to be successful. And she didn't play very many national tournaments at all. She went very much under the radar, got here, and went, hey, this is kind of cool. I think I'll just get better. And, okay, well, I wish it was all that easy. Sophie Hayashi rounds out our team and the freshman class. Sophie is from Carmel. She is a Indiana State champion as a sophomore. She won the state high school championship as a sophomore. She is, she is pretty much the antithesis of Lindsay. I mean, Lindsay hits it a mile. Sophie doesn't hit it a mile. Lindsay can hit it sideways sometimes. Sophie is like a surgeon. I mean, she will carve up a golf course. And it's really neat to watch those two play because they kind of feed off each other a little bit. But, Sophie's going to have a really great career. As she progresses forward, I think, her needs are more in the short game area and just trying to tighten up, just scoring just a little bit.
Well, Coach, thanks so much for joining us. We do have one final very quick question from Andy, and I think there's only one answer to this.
Okay.
Who are you cheering for in the Masters?
Oh, wow.
Got to go with the alum.
Yeah, I mean, you have to like Jeff Overton.
All right.
I mean, you have to like Jeff Overton. But I will say, I think golf needs Tiger Woods to be Tiger Woods again.
Agreed.
I think, whatever your viewpoint is on him.
I wouldn't set him up with my sister, but I would love for him to be great at golf again.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Coach, thanks so much for joining us. You can catch a lot of Indiana women's golf on our YouTube channel on IU Athletics, recaps with golfers as well as Coach Wallman. We've done things from time to time on IUHoosiers.com. There's some live scoring of events that Indiana hosts. You can really kind of plug into Indiana women's golf, and it's a program on the rise. Coach, thanks so much for joining us here today. All right, we're going to talk to